Good morning and happy Monday. I hope everyone has had a fabulous weekend, and I want to welcome everybody to another week and another day at our focus activity. This morning we are live on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook page. My name is Jennifer and I'm a teacher with English in the City of Prato. So for everybody that's joining in this morning, please let me know that you're here. Good morning, Andrea. Type your name in the comment box and say good morning. I hope you've had a good weekend, Andrea. Here we are. It's once again another Monday. Good morning, Greta. How are you? Thank you for joining us today. My faithful English companions. This morning, we're doing focus activity 6-7, buying presents. Now, we haven't had the opportunity to go shopping very often, but there's always the possibility to shop online. So if you need to buy presents for other people, or sometimes we need to buy presents for ourselves. I know that's one of my favorite pastimes. You were in Montale this weekend. Why didn't you tell me? Were you in the center or were you near the station? Because I actually live very near the station. So buying presents is something we usually do for other people, for other occasions. In fact, we know that yesterday was Mother's Day, so maybe some of us bought presents for a mother we know or for our own mothers. But it's also important to buy presents for yourself sometimes. So you come to a mechanic or a tire man near Montale. Okay. And it's already 11 o'clock and you finished. Well, you finished very, very quickly. So this morning we're talking about buying presents for other people, but we certainly don't want to diminish the importance of buying presents for yourself, which is something I enjoy doing a few times a year. Because if anyone knows you better than you, it is yourself. So it's important also to buy presents for yourself because you know that you're going to buy yourself exactly what you want and in the right size. Okay, so for those of you just tuning in, my name is Jennifer. I'm a teacher with English in the City of Prato. This morning we are doing focus activity 6-7, buying presents. So as you join our focus group, please say good morning. Type your name in, whether you're tuning in from Facebook or from YouTube. Let us know that you're here so that we can all participate together in our focus activity. In this morning's activity, we are going to be choosing presents, asking for advice, and making suggestions. So keep in mind already the types of words or phrases we use for giving advice, for asking advice, and for making suggestions. We know that we use our modal verbs. So we're going to practice using those. Even though the image on your screen suggests something more along Christmas time, we're going to be buying presents for any occasion. So before we get started, I ask you, when do you buy presents? We know that there are different events throughout the year when we need to buy presents for other people. For what reasons do you buy presents for other people? I actually enjoy buying presents for no reason at all. And a lot of times I think those are the best presents to get also. when it's a complete surprise. Someone says, you know what? I bought you a present just because, and this is for you. Those are the best presents, I think. But there are also times during the year where we have to buy a present. We are obliged. We are obligated. We are obligated to buy a present. What events are these when we must buy a present? Someone says, hi, friend, I'm having a party because it's my birthday. Please come to my party. And you say, okay, I'm coming to your party. Is this an event where you buy a present? Or better yet, two people are in love and they are getting married and they say, hey, we're having a party because she loves him and he loves her, and they're going to get married. Is this an event where you buy a present? Do you enjoy buying presents? They say that giving is better than receiving. Is this an idea that you share as well? It depends on who I'm buying presents for. I have to be honest. If I'm buying a present because it's an obligation to buy a present, I buy it with less joy and I choose it with less joy. So when was the last time you bought a present, and who did you buy a present for? As you come up with your answers to my questions, my random questions, to get a little bit of our conversation going, just put your comments in the conversation box so that everybody can see them. So this is our first slide of our focus activity. And actually the first question is the question that I've just asked you. When was the last time you bought a present? Who did you buy it for? I think the very last time I bought a present, meaning I went out and spent money. Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Andrea, and thank you, Greta. So Greta says, yes, I enjoy buying presents. And Andrea says that now maybe he buys presents a little less often, but he usually buys presents for birthdays, births, meaning a baby is born, weddings, and around Christmas time. Very good. So if you see that depending on your circle of friends, how many people have birthdays, depending on the ages of the people that you know, how many people are having children, or how many people are getting married, that plus holiday gifts, we see that we can buy presents all year long. And Greta, thank you, Greta. Greta says the last time she bought a present was for New Year's. Okay, and who did you buy a present for? I think the last time I bought a present, because I usually try to make presents for people. So I make things with my own hands and I give them away. But the last time I actually spent money on a gift was probably about a year ago. Maybe a little over a year. And it was the first time I bought something online. So I actually made an online purchase, and then I wrapped the present and I gave it to my friend. Yes. And Greta says, oh, she bought a present for her cousin. Okay, so that also takes us into the second question. Why do you buy presents? So we buy presents for holidays. These could be religious holidays or national holidays or traditional holidays. For example, yesterday was Mother's Day, and a few months ago was also International Women's Day. So there are holidays like that. And then, as Greta pointed out, there is New Year's. As Andrea mentioned, there is also Christmas, along with the other holidays during that time of year. And then there are the holidays that we have in the springtime. And then there are just traditional holidays like birthdays that come up or births of new children. So those are different reasons why we buy presents. Andrea says, I bought a present for my sister-in-law in January and another one for my brother in February. I bought a suggested perfume and an aftershave. That's right. You can never go wrong with cologne, perfume, or aftershave. Those are pretty safe presents when you have to, especially if you're buying for someone that you know well, but maybe not so well that you can see something particular and say, oh, this is something that he or she would definitely love. It's difficult to buy presents for people. So when was the last time you received a present? So we've talked about buying presents for cousins and for friends and for in-laws. We've mentioned reasons why we buy presents, why we go shopping for presents, holidays and birthdays and traditions. But when was the last time you received a present? And what was it for? The last time someone gave me a present, was probably in February for my birthday. I have some very nice coworkers, and so they gave me a few presents for my birthday. But those, as we've mentioned, when you buy presents for coworkers, for distant relatives, for acquaintances, we see that the presents, unless the person knows you extremely, extremely well, they tend to lean towards the generic side. So as Andrea mentioned, when he buys a present for his sister-in-law or his brother, that depending on how well he knows them, he received suggestions because there was a suggested perfume and an aftershave. Very good. Thank you, Greta. Greta also says that buy presents because it's a tradition. So even though sometimes we might be in difficulty buying a present because we can't choose the right present, because we don't know exactly what to buy, or we could even be in financial difficulty. Because you know that when you go to a wedding, you have to buy a present and you can't buy them socks. You have to get them something important for their new lives together. So depending on the situation we are financially or otherwise, sometimes buying presents can put us in a difficult situation. But as Greta said, it's a tradition. So what do you say at the birthday? Sorry, no present for you. Couldn't figure it out. Or at the wedding, sorry, couldn't get around to buying you anything. Didn't have cash on hand. No, these are traditions that are respected and taken very seriously. Gift suggestions. When we make a suggestion or when we ask for advice, what's a common modal verb that we use? Let's take a minute and read through our dialogue. I need to buy a present for my daughter. What should I buy? How old is she? She's going to be 17. And what does she like? She likes music, reading, and loves fashion. Well, you could get her a party dress or an iPod. That's a bit too expensive. What about a book? That's a great idea. Thanks. So take a minute and look through the dialogue once again. And Natasha says, wait a minute, Andrea says, excuse me, I don't remember the last time I received a present on my birthday. I was twice abroad, and this year I was in quarantine. Andrea. And no one sent you a present. They can send presents in the mail. That's no excuse. You tell them, I don't care that I'm in quarantine or I was in quarantine. If it's my birthday, you can use the postal service to send me a gift. Natasha says, example, when it was the happy birthday, exactly, Greta, thank you. When it's someone's birthday, everyone gives a present. You can't not give a present. It would be seen as extremely, extremely rude. And that's what Greta means when she says it's a tradition. It's a tradition to buy presents and to give presents for certain occasions. Now, as we look at this dialogue here, who is buying a present? Who is buying a present? And who is she buying a present for? Well, I'm just assuming that the person buying a present is a she. So someone in this dialogue is looking for a present. Who are they looking for a present for? And from the dialogue, we also understand the occasion. Why are they looking for a present? If we go back to the beginning of the dialogue, the person, the blue person says, I need to buy a present for my daughter. What should I buy? Who is buying a present? Then the person in red says, well, how old is she? And the customer responds, we understand this is a customer, she's going to be 17. From those two statements, who is buying a present and what is the occasion? Because if you are buying a present for your daughter, you can only be one of two people. And in this dialogue, we also see what you think about when you buy a present. So when you go to the shop, any shop, and you say, all right, I need to buy a present for somebody, do you just grab the first item off the shelf and say, okay, this is my present, this is for you? No, it takes a certain amount of effort and thought. You don't grab any random object and put a bow on it and give it at a party. You actually think about who you're buying the gift for. And continuing in our dialogue, the sales assistant asks, what does she like? And this is what we think about when we buy presents. What do they like to do? What do they like? And the customer answers, she likes music, reading, and she loves fashion. Thank you very much, Andrea. Andrea says, a mom is buying a present for her daughter, but the occasion is not evident. Absolutely true. It is not obvious the reason, the occasion of buying a present, but the customer says she's going to be 17. So it may allude to the fact that this could be a birthday present, possibly, if she's going to be 17. And buying presents, especially for teenagers, is not easy. Thank you for your comment, Andrea. So how does the mother buy this present? She thinks about what her daughter likes to do and what she likes. And from this conversation, we understand that the daughter likes music, reading, and fashion. But now let's look at the other phrases. The customer asks for advice. She asks for a suggestion. How does she ask? Oh God, I don't know what to buy. Tell me what to buy. Help. No. How does she ask for a suggestion from the shop assistant? There's a specific word that she uses. And this is a word that we usually use when we're asking for advice, when we're asking for a suggestion, and even when we're giving advice. So if we're strongly encouraging someone to do something, there's a specific word that we use. For example, if a doctor is strongly encouraging us to take medication or to take a medicine so that we get better, or to undergo a certain treatment, what does the doctor say? Do what you want, it doesn't matter. There's a word that the doctor uses to strongly encourage us to do something. And this is the same word, modal verb, that we use when we ask for a suggestion. You say, I honestly don't know what to do. What should I do? And we see that in the very first line. This is what the customer asks. I need to buy a present. What should I buy? That's how she asks for a suggestion. How does the shop assistant give advice? How does she make a suggestion? This is another modal verb that we use when we give a suggestion or advice in a gentler way. Thank you, Andrea. Andrea says, what should I buy? That's how you ask for a suggestion. You're asking someone to give you advice. And you can give the advice in one of two ways. Both ways using a modal verb, but they're slightly different. What does the shop assistant say? The customer asks her, honestly, I need to buy a present. What should I buy? And the shop assistant answers, well, you have to buy, or you should buy. Thank you, Greta. Greta says she could buy her a party dress or an iPod because she likes fashion and music. Yes, Greta, I understood. And that's how the shop assistant gives advice and makes a suggestion. You could. And as Andrea says, when the doctor is talking to his patient, he gives advice in a more insistent way. He gives it more forcefully. He says, you should take your medicine. Yes, Greta, I did. I understood. I read the whole thing and I understood exactly what you meant. So when a doctor gives you advice, however, on taking a medication or taking a cure, he doesn't say, well, do what you want. You could do this, you could do that. He tells you you should because it's for your benefit. But if we're talking about buying presents, where we leave the choice to the person, we make a gentle suggestion. Well, you could buy her a party dress, or you could buy her an iPod, meaning the choice is yours, but these are possibilities. And that's exactly what Greta pointed out. So when we ask for a suggestion, we could ask, what should I do? But then the person giving the suggestion, to leave the choice up to us, they say, well, you could do this or you could do that. But you decide, the choice is yours. Okay, and this is a fill in the blank exercise. Give suggestions. I think we're going to skip this slide here. We'll go on to the next one. Okay. All right. You are going to give me a suggestion. You're going to give me a suggestion. Let's go back to this one. Okay, so I am going to be blue and you are going to be red. And as you come up with your answers, just put them in the comment box because I am going to respond to you. Okay, and I need to buy a present for my son, and I don't know what to buy. He is 12, and he loves riding his bicycle. He likes listening to music, and he also likes comic books. What should I buy? So I'm asking you for advice. I need to buy a present for my son. He is 12 years old. He loves riding his bicycle. He likes listening to music, and he likes comic books. Bicycle, music, comic books. What should I buy? So I'm asking you now for advice. Give me a sentence and make a suggestion. What should I buy? He loves riding his bicycle. He likes listening to music and he likes comic books. What should I buy? Remember the modal verb that you use when you're giving advice about buying a present. Because as Andrea pointed out before, when a doctor gives advice, he's very forceful about it. He says, well, you should take your medicine. But if we're giving advice for buying presents, we don't need to be that forceful because the person could be somewhat offended. So I have to buy a present for my son. He's 12 years old. He loves riding his bicycle. He likes listening to music. And he likes comic books. What should I buy? And as Greta pointed out before, in her response, when she was talking about the shop assistant gave the advice, you could buy her a party dress or an iPod. And there is the language that we use for giving advice in a gentler way. You could buy. So being that my son likes bicycles, music, and comic books, what could I buy for a present? I should buy a bicycle. Okay, well, what is box? Are we back in the dialogue now? Let me go check on the screen. What is box? A box is a box is a container. A container that usually you put the gift into. And that's what you wrap. It's a gift box. So for example, if you go to the shop and you buy a shirt for your friend and they say, okay, would you like it as a gift? You don't just take the shirt on a hanger and give it to your friend. They fold it up nice. They put it in a box. They wrap the box. The box is the container that you put the present in. And usually the box is made of cardboard. If you think about the container when you buy a pair of shoes, that's cardboard. And I could also buy a comic book. Thank you very much, Greta. So notice, Greta, your language in the second one. You said you could buy a comic. I know, I understand. You could buy a comic book. And if you make another suggestion for me, Greta, about a bicycle, you could buy a bicycle. Remember that if we're making suggestions like this, where the choice is still up to the person, we give them ideas and we say, well, you could do this, you could do that, you could do something else, but the choice is yours. I'm simply helping. But if someone gives you advice that they know is for your own good, and there's really only that one choice, they say you should do this. Because if you don't, there will be consequences. Okay, now we're going to do this again, all right, but this time I'm going to choose another occasion. And we're going to think you said he loves, what did I say? I said he loves riding his bike. He loves listening to music. And he loves comics. Bike, music, comics. I think that's what I said, didn't I? Because Andrea, if you notice, Greta advised me to buy a bicycle. And then she advised me to buy a comic book. It's probably just my American accent. He loves to ride his bike, a bicycle. So let's go on to another exercise, and I'm going to give you an occasion. I'm going to give you a like and a dislike, and my budget. This is something else you need to think about when you buy a present. What is a budget? What is a budget? For example, I walk into a shop, I have to buy a present. And I say, well, you know what? My friend really, really loves diamonds. So I'm going to buy her a beautiful diamond necklace with 100 diamonds all around. Diamonds as big as tangerines. And I'm going to buy her this huge diamond necklace. Comment box. A comic book. A comic book. That's okay, Andrea. That's okay. So now I'm buying a diamond necklace for my friend, a giant diamond necklace. But my budget doesn't allow me to. What is a budget? What is a budget? And why is it so important? Because if there is no budget, what can you do? What's a budget? Because a lot of times, especially if during the holiday season, we have several gifts or several presents to buy at once. You have a list of people that you have to buy presents for. And so what do? You just go out and buy everything that they've ever wanted in their whole life, and you spend thousands and thousands and thousands of euros. And say, well, you know what? It was worth it. Because what my friends want, they get. Or do you keep a budget? The budget is the amount of money you allow yourself to spend. So sometimes, especially if you have to buy presents for several people, you say, okay, but I can only spend a certain amount of money total. So that means I can only spend a certain amount of money for each person. Thank you, Greta. The budget is the money you have to buy a present. And it means you don't go outside of that limit for whatever reason. Usually people, but don't spend more than €5 a person. Very good. So usually if we're talking, right, today we're talking about buying presents. So if we have a budget to buy presents, it means that's the amount of money we are allowed to spend. We shouldn't spend more, but we don't want to spend too much less. So if your budget is €100, do not buy a present for 10. But if your budget is €100, you can buy a present for 85 or 90. If your budget is 100, don't buy a present for 200. But if you feel like it, you could also buy a present for maybe 110, but not too much. Because the budget can be because other people are buying things, and the budget could also be because you don't have the money to spend. Oh, if I have to buy 20 people presents, I can't spend €100 on every person. So this is another thing we think about when we buy a present for people. Okay, I'm back. I keep going offline. When we buy presents for people, we consider the occasion. We consider the occasion, as we said before, whether it's a birthday or a wedding or a child's birth or another traditional holiday. We consider the likes and dislikes of a person. What do they like to do? What things do they like? What clothes do they like to wear? We also think about what we bought last year. For example, if we bought them a t-shirt last year for their birthday, maybe we don't want to buy another t-shirt this year. We want to buy something else. And then, as Natasha pointed out, we also think about the budget. How much money are we allowed to spend? Okay, so here's my occasion for you. Here's my occasion. My friend has just had a baby. So it's a present for a mother and a baby. Because when a baby is born, even though usually you buy something for the baby, you can also buy something for the mother, something that's good for the both of them, or something that the mother needs, or something that the baby needs. Okay, the baby is a boy, and my friend loves the color green. And last year she didn't have a baby. So I didn't buy a present for her or her baby. And my budget is €50. Okay, what should I buy? The occasion is my friend just had a baby. She loves the color green. The baby is a boy. And last year I didn't get her anything. My budget is €50. What should I buy? What should I buy? And buying a present for a new mother is, I think, one of the most difficult things, because you can buy something based on whether the baby is a boy or a girl, or you can buy something that's necessary, that you need just because you're a new mother. So I've given you a situation. Do you have any suggestions for me? What should I buy? I should buy a green t-shirt. Thank you, Greta. Should I buy a green t-shirt for the mother or the baby? I should buy a green t-shirt. My budget now is €50. Where should I buy the green t-shirt? I guess I can go to H&M if they have green. So should I buy a t-shirt, a green t-shirt for the mother or the baby? The baby. Okay, so I'm going to get a green t-shirt for the new baby boy. Thank you very much, Greta. We've mentioned also, in fact, a lot of these scenarios, we are going shopping to buy a present. But we don't always have to go to the shop to buy a present. What are other ways? What are other ways that we can buy a present? Especially now that we've been in quarantine for 2 months and now we're just beginning to get out. But the shops are not completely open for business. Thank you, Greta. And for the mother, I could buy a pair of jeans. Yes, because after you've had a baby, your jeans need to be a little bit bigger because the jeans you used to wear don't fit you anymore. Your pre-pregnancy jeans do not fit after the baby is born. So, and it's nice also as a new mother to get new clothes because you feel so fat after you have a baby. And then you have a closet full of clothes that do not fit you. Because no one wants to wear the maternity clothes after the baby is born because then you still look pregnant. So you want new clothes so you could, because you're a new mother, so that you don't look pregnant, you look like you've just had a baby. And there's a difference to that. So that excellent suggestion. Thank you very much, Greta. And Greta has used the vocabulary for making a suggestion. You should buy a green t-shirt. If we want to be a little bit more gentle, Greta, we could say, well, you could buy a green t-shirt because your friend likes green. And you could buy her a new pair of jeans to make her feel better about herself after having a baby. Could buy a child's suit and flowers for the new mother. Thank you very much, Andrea. Excellent. Yes, you could buy. Thank you very much for your suggestion. So I could buy a baby suit, you know, those onesies, they call them onesies, where it's one suit with the legs and the body and the arms all attached. So you just plunk the baby in and zip it up. So I could buy a baby suit for the baby and flowers for the mother to say congratulations. Now, another situation that comes up often, if we buy a present that the other person doesn't really like, what do we do? If someone buys you a present that you don't really like, what do? You say, oh, this present is terrible, and throw it out the window. No, you can't just throw presents out the window or in the garbage immediately. But what do you do if you get a present that you just don't like? And you say, oh, what were they thinking? I'm not a size 4. What were they thinking? I don't wear purple polka dots. What were they thinking? I'm allergic to eggs. So what happens when you get a present that you can't use or you really don't like it? Let's read through this conversation while you're thinking of what to say when you open that present. And it's something that you absolutely hate. Giving and receiving. What's your reaction when you receive a present you like or you don't like? Happy birthday! I've got you something. I hope you like it. Thank you. You shouldn't have. The box is beautiful. Did you wrap it yourself? There we are, Andrea. A beautiful gift box. Yes, I did. Go ahead. Open it. It's a new scarf, and it matches my coat perfectly. I know, that's why I bought it. I needed a new scarf. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Like it. I love it. So in this case, the person was very lucky. the person who bought the present and the person who received the present. Because the person who bought the present made a good choice. And the person who received the present was lucky enough to have a good friend with good sense that knew exactly what to buy. But what if you have a friend that does not have such good sense and they buy you something completely inappropriate? Inappropriate in the sense that you just don't like it. Something not for you. For example, you love classical music and you go to the symphony and they buy you a heavy metal or a crazy metal CD or tickets to a heavy metal concert. What do you say? Oh, thank you, and love them. How do we get around that uncomfortable situation of getting a present we don't like or giving a present we don't like? And this is a practice that is very common, especially if we buy clothes. So we buy a present, we buy a green t-shirt for the baby maybe, but we're not sure exactly on the size. So we estimate, well, it's a new baby, let me buy this size. And then we buy it. The mother opens it, she says, oh my goodness, this is too big. Maybe she likes the present, but it's just not the right size. What is a common practice? What do people do to get around that situation? I say, okay, well, it's 10 sizes too big, so he'll be wearing it for the next 15 years. And this is something that once upon a time they didn't do, but now they do it on a regular basis. When they give the gift, they give the receipt with the gift. And usually, because the idea is that you don't want the other person to know how much you spent on the present. But nowadays, you can't get around that. So when you give a gift, especially clothing, you give the receipt or the proof of payment with the gift. So if the person says, you know what, oh my goodness, I really don't like this color, they can go back to the shop and exchange it for something that they like more. When I get that kind of present, I immediately think to give it to another person to bring. Andrea, so as you're looking at the gift, you can see him pulling out oh my goodness, who can I give this to? I must know somebody that could use this. Or immediately you think of that charity shop that you could donate it to. I know that's one of the reasons why I think gift giving shouldn't be so obligatory, because sometimes you buy the wrong present, sometimes you get the wrong present, and in the end, money was wasted that could have been saved. So what also is another way that you can get around buying the wrong present for somebody? And this is something that a lot of people do now. Instead of giving an actual present, meaning you open the box and there's an item in it. And maybe Greta knows, being younger than we are, what do a lot of people give teenagers or young adults? Okay, Greta says, I change the present. If I get something I do not like, I change it. And that is why, Greta, that often we put the proof of purchase, the receipt, in with the present when we give it, so that the person has the choice to change the present or not. Another way to get around that inconvenient situation is to give a gift voucher. And now they have gift certificates or gift vouchers for absolutely everything. Which means And giving a gift voucher is almost the same as giving money. But if you don't want to give the person money, just by putting money in an envelope and saying, here, happy, happy, you can give them a gift voucher to something that they enjoy. Can anyone think of an example of a gift voucher? What can you give a gift voucher for? So you say, well, listen, I really don't know what size my friend wears. Or I really don't know what movie they would like to see. What kind of gift voucher could you buy? What kind of gift voucher could you buy? And I have to admit that nowadays there's such a wide range of gift certificates and gift vouchers that often the gift voucher is more appreciated than the actual gift, because you have the choice. Okay, Andrea says now you can have a courtesy receipt and can change it if you don't like it or the size is not good for you. Excellent, Andrea. That's exactly what we said. So if you give the present with the receipt or the proof of purchase in the box, then the person who gets the present, if the size is not good or honestly we just don't like it very much, we can take it back to the shop and exchange it. And they tell us the amount that we can spend. So they say, okay, if you exchange it, then, or if you want something completely different, then you can spend up to this amount. But let's say we don't even want to give the actual clothing or the actual something. We mentioned before that we can use a gift voucher or a gift certificate. And now there are basically these gift vouchers and certificates for absolutely everything. For example, if you know that you have a friend that loves to binge watch, for example, they watch television series and they'll watch the entire series in a weekend. They say, okay, this weekend I'm going to watch all 11 seasons of, then you could actually get them a gift voucher for television, for a network, so that they can buy movies or rent movies and they can watch whatever they want without going to the store and buying them an actual DVD for a film. You can also give gift vouchers for beauty services. If you know that the person that you're buying for enjoys to take care of their hands or their feet, or maybe their eyebrows need to be cleaned up a little bit, which is something I'm missing dreadfully. I can't wait to go back and get my eyebrows done. I have eyebrows all over my face. So they have gift vouchers for services, beauty services. They have gift vouchers for films or television. They have gift vouchers for the cinema or for other events that you can buy a voucher for. And they also have vouchers for weekend getaways. You can actually purchase a vacation for a friend. You can buy them a package vacation so that they can go away for the weekend. And that's a fantastic, fantastic possibility. So this way they can choose. They can choose what would be the best present for them. Now, in today's focus activity, we did several things. And most importantly, we talked about the language we use when we give a present. We said that if we're asking people for a suggestion, we're asking our friends for a suggestion or for advice, we can ask them point blank, what should I do? And once someone asks us, well, what should I do? How do we give them advice? If we remember our dialogue with the customer in the shop, shopping for a present for her daughter, the customer says, what should I buy? And the shop assistant says, well, you could. So we understand that when we're asking for the advice, we use the modal verb should. But when we're giving the advice, we use could. You can also use should when you give advice, but it's very insistent. It's a very strong way of giving advice. Because if we say should, it means you want them to do exactly that. For example, if somebody eats too much sugar, you say you should stop eating sugar. Not you could eat less sugar, you could eat more. You should stop doing that. If the doctor gives us advice using should, he tells us you should do this. He doesn't give us a list of things we could do. And that's where giving advice or giving a suggestion about buying a gift is important to use could, because we give them options. We give them several choices and we say, well, you could buy A, you could buy B, or you could buy C, but the choice is yours. So if we say should, we're giving very strong advice, which doesn't leave much room for our choice. But if we're using could, it's a very gentle way of making a suggestion, but leaving the choice up to your listener. We talked about reasons why we buy presents. And as Greta pointed out in the beginning of our focus activity, we buy presents for birthdays, for holidays. We buy presents because it's a tradition to buy presents for certain occasions. Andrea also mentioned that we buy presents for the birth of children, for weddings. Another reason why we could buy presents could be for retirement, when people stop working, or if people start working and they have a new job. Often we can buy a present if someone has moved into a new house. So we see that there are different reasons for buying presents, not just to make the person feel good, but buying presents for certain occasions can also be a way of helping out. If a mother just has a baby, it's helpful if she gets diapers, if she gets baby clothes, if she gets a blanket. It's helpful if someone has just bought a new house and you buy them plates or you buy them glasses. It's helpful also if you've just graduated high school or college and someone gives you money. So gifts can also have a practical purpose. They can be also helpful to the person that you're giving them to. But one thing is certain, that when we choose a gift for somebody, or when we have to buy a gift for somebody, there are certain things we think about. We think about what they like and what they don't like, so as not to make a mistake. We consider the occasion that we're buying for, and we also consider our budget. And as Greta told us, the budget is when you think about the money that you're allowed to spend. You have a certain amount of money that you can spend. You don't want to spend too much, and you don't want to spend too little. Okay, we've come to the end of our focus activity this morning. I want to thank everybody for participating and for tuning in. This is the beginning of another wonderful week. And so I want to wish everyone a fantastic Monday. Have a great afternoon, whatever you do. Remember that English in the City is live on YouTube and on Facebook every day with a different focus activity either in the morning or in the afternoon. So I want to thank everyone for joining in this morning. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you again next time. Bye, Greta. Thank you so much. And thank you, Andrea. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.